I've been making monsters for over 40 years. I've always enjoyed scaring people, and now I do it professionally. From Queen Aliens to Alice Cooper stage props, we delight in resurrecting the darkness.
Ed, water!
With our tight-knit team of sculptors, artists, and mechanics, we create your worst nightmares. This is Making Monsters.
Okay, great. We'll come up with something and get back with you soon. Bye.
Was it the Alice Cooper guys?
Yes, it was.
Cool. Do they want us to do something?
They do.
I suppose they need it like in a super hurry?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Once again, there's a lot going on. We've been asked by Alice Cooper to make a huge stage prop fast. At the same time, I have a huge Frightronics order for our biggest customer. And we have the Monsterpalooza show to go to with Jordu in LA. Oh, Marcia, we need to make monsters now.
I got a big favor to ask.
What's that?
Can I have vacation?
Sure, in 2012.
Oh, I was thinking like in about 15 minutes.
Oh, no. This is the big Alice Frankenstein week. Alice Cooper is kind of a shock rock and roll guy. He's been going since the 60s. You know, the first time Marcia and I met Alice, we actually had a haunted house we did in '96, and it was very rock and roll, and it was extremely successful. And it turns out he's a super nice guy. He liked the attraction so much that he hired us in 2000 to do the Brutal Planet tour.
What we really need is Feed My Frankenstein. We need a Frankenstein. But we need an Alice Frankenstein.
It's going to be like a giant head of Alice as Frankenstein. That's your challenge. We got 5 days. Well, less the length of this meeting. We have definitely not given the crew enough time to do this. We don't have enough time. I mean, we're going to put everything we've got in this because it was really, I mean, it's more like a 2-week project, but we'll suffer because we haven't done anything for Alice since 2000 and really want to knock this one out of the park.
This Alice project's so excited. We want to make sure it's perfect.
This is something that hasn't been done. It's complex, and we don't usually do this, and it's going to be a real challenge for everybody. But it's going to take a major effort to have it done and perfect. Not done and it's like breaks when we're showing it. That's more stress than I can take right now. When I was a teenager, I was like a really big Alice Cooper fan. I had posters on the wall. I bought snakes. I had silver pants custom sewn by a tailor. And so I was really nerdy about it. All right, so what do you guys got for us? After we got the order to produce this prop for Alice and they approved the idea, we called Brainstorm Studios, and they're a graphics company, but they do so much more, and we wanted them to design the look of it.
Turned Alice Cooper into FrankenAlice.
Holy cow.
So that should be some good sculpting reference.
Yeah.
Our vision is, as Alice starts the song, someone comes in and they put on this lab coat. So, he's looking at the different bodies. Well, there's dead Alice. So he'll drag this body up and he'll put it on this platform and then pull the curtains, and here's this Feed My Frankenstein. Boy, this is good work, man. In addition to the big FrankenAlice, we're going to have this big panel that sits behind him. We're going to have the control box making this happen.
This box here is huge.
Oh, yeah. We start with a 2-dimensional drawing, and then we try to visualize that in 3D and figure out just how much time it's going to take and to actually pull it off. Now we got to just build it. No problem. We really like to have guest sculptors come to Distortions. They bring a little different vibe.
Well, it looks as if they're getting that forklift all set up and they're gonna pull that tree on down.
We wanted to have Jordu sculpt this giant FrankenAlice, but now he's a big shot Hollywood sculptor. He is off in France teaching a class. So Jordu's suggestion was to hire Mikey Rotella. Great seeing you.
Everybody.
We got a seat here for you. Mike Rotella, who we like to call Mikey, is this really tough-looking guy that you wouldn't want to meet in an alley, but he's extremely talented. He's worked on a lot of major motion pictures, and we just love to work with him. That's your challenge, to make Alice look like he's Frankenstein.
Any chance to sculpt a big monster, I'm all about it. I have 2 days to complete this enormous task.
We're talking about a huge head.
2 days is pretty much insane, but Alice needs his friggin' Frankenstein head, so
Mana brought up some clay, looks like, and we should be good to go.
Oh, no.
Oh, willow.
Not willow clay.
Oh.
I find out that we don't have wet clay, which is primarily what we use at Distortions to do all this stuff. But wet clay is very difficult to find in Greeley, Colorado. It's not as accessible as it is in LA. So Ed's second best choice is this stuff called willow clay, which is garbage. Ed, this is the worst.
I know that. Listen, I know that. It's not the best, but maybe we can bulk it out and put wet on the top if we don't have enough.
Do we have wet at all?
Well, I hope so. I think so. I'll check.
We need wet.
Let me go check with Mondo, and maybe it's not a tragedy. Let me check.
And I need that armature. And good clay. And a week. With a week, it would still be kind of a tight crunch for something this big. Pretty nervous about it.
Before Mikey starts on FrankenAlice, the armature needs to be built. An armature is the metal framework on which the sculpture is molded with clay.
Mike built the armature for me because they have to stick to some pretty, strict guidelines because it's an animatronic and puppet, so everything has to fit over this inner working skeleton that they've already designed. Here we go. All right. Is this thing like burning hot still?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a little warm.
All you artists are the same. You got to burn your fingers.
I'm just worried about it heating up this willow clay so it all falls apart on me.
We can go out and get you some mud.
Some mud? That might work. It's the same thing, actually. Willow clay and mud. Willow clay doesn't have glycerin in it like the wet clay does. You can't get detail on it. It dries quicker, and it's literally like mud. We only have a few boxes of this wet clay, and I need like, hundreds of pounds of it. Like Greeley's, like cow pies, awesome. But wet clay, no. Nowhere. Our way that we worked around it was I just tried to bulk out most of the forms with the willow clay and then kind of cover it in kind of a sheet of wet and use that for detail. Real early phase of blocking everything out.
Is giving Mikey sufficient time to do this? No, we are not giving him sufficient time to do it. We're going to have a whip, maybe electricity. I don't know what it's going to take, but we're going to have to work that poor man hard. So while Mikey works on the FrankenAlice head, our mechanic Mike is busy building this huge reveal box. The reveal box is this giant box that the actor that plays the FrankenAlice rides onto stage in, and it hides him until he comes out. In the haunt business, weight, size, that's not an issue. Take it off a big truck and load it in. In the rock world, that's an issue. Every day this has to be loaded and unloaded and put up and taken down. So ease of setup, weight, and size become critical.
This is supposed to be 10 feet tall, 4 feet wide, 4 feet deep. Then it's all supposed to fold down into 12 inches by 5 feet tall, 4 feet wide. This is the biggest piece we've ever tried to fold down.
Not looking good. You sure we can't make this work? We've cut an inch off. Shouldn't it be just perfect?
Yeah, but when you throw that hinge on there, it throws it another half an inch off. Yeah.
When Mike and Ed were figuring out dimensions, evidently they didn't take into consideration the hinges.
We forgot that when you hinge something where it needs to be, it takes more than 2 inches, and so it's like, oh no. I mean, that was very troubling because this has to fold small.
Right now, we got this gap.
Yeah.
Right.
If I close that gap, then we're not going to close back here. We're not used to making a jigsaw puzzle.
We gotta have this done by the end of the day. Remember our meeting. Work harder.
This is just gonna be a nightmare start to finish. It ain't gonna matter.
Oh.
This is bad.
We just got an order from Alice Cooper to develop a Frankenstein version of him for his stage show. We're under a tight deadline, and we already have a major problem.
I had a pretty short period of time to start off on the first day of the sculpture. So I busted out as much as I could, and I was kind of confident with the time frame I had, and I was like, I think I might be able to do this.
Oh.
I walk in the next morning, and there's a huge crack, like a Grand Canyon in the side of this head. This is bad. So I was freaking out. Ed's gonna be pretty pissed. Yeah, this is not good. This is exactly the last thing we want to happen, so I'm gonna go inform the man. He's in the other room, assuming everything's fine, and I have to go tell him, is he gonna get pissed at me? You know, is this gonna really screw everything up? Are we gonna be able to fix this? Come check this out, a little surprise for you.
Surprise?
It's not good.
I like surprises. What do you mean it's not good?
We got some crackages.
Holy Toledo. Gee, I wonder if it's the kind of clay.
The willow, air and moisture will kind of find its way through the cracks inside this clay that hasn't really grasped onto itself too well. And then it just, the weight of everything just finds all that and just separates it. So it just split off and just ruined my whole day.
I think we should drive some sticks in here and take care of some of that down force.
I've done all this work on this sculpture, and now we're like smacking it with hammers and stabbing it with things, and I was like, oh no.
Are we being punished, Mikey?
I think so.
We've done something horribly wrong?
I think the gods of rock and roll are pissed at us. This doesn't look anything like Alice Cooper.
That's not right.
It would have taken me an hour to figure this out. That's just old-fashioned know-how and experience on Ed's part. I'm pretty worried about finishing this thing. It's pretty tight. It's not like, oh, I'm running out of time. I didn't really have the time to begin with.
Mikey, we got to get this done. I mean, can you pull that off? Because it's not can, you have to. We got to get it done.
I'll figure it out.
Somehow, some way. All right, Mikey, stay strong. I'll be back. Work miracles.
Yep.
Mike had finally figured out a way that we could fold this box. We used piano hinges, it filled the hole, and it actually looks as good or maybe better than it would have. In addition, we've got some safety issues with this platform that the actor is going to stand on and his assistant that gets wheeled on stage. And if that tipped, not only would it be like this terrible rock moment, but it would be potentially dangerous for those guys. So how about the size of this? We all good with that as far as fitting two dudes in there?
No, I'm not making that promise.
Okay. Well, good.
How you gonna put two people in there when...
I'm telling you, Mike, this is not a problem.
Why don't you go get that thing and put it on, and you'll see. It's gonna be a lot tighter than you thought.
All right, I'll go put the thing on, and we'll get in there together, and we'll try it out.
Very concerned that two people won't fit into that box. That's a tight area.
So the FrankenAlice head gets put on top of this 6-foot Gore-Galore armature that the actor wears, and then we drape cloth over it to look like clothes. And it gives the illusion that there's this 10-foot Alice Cooper on stage. Okay, Mike, let's get this thing on. So, we're going to prove to you that man and monster will fit in this box. I hope. Okay, take your position sideways. How about that? Well, good. Get me out of this thing.
We're under a hard deadline here. If it was anyone else, we would feel pressure. The fact that we're doing this for Alice adds quite a bit of pressure.
You're only halfway there.
No, I know.
No, it looks awesome. Wow. With all the problems we had, I'm amazed that he got it done in time.
I'm happy with the finished sculpture. I really am. It was really fun, despite all the craziness and the time crunches.
No, it's beautiful.
Not only are we working on the Alice...
We're back from North Carolina with the Alice Cooper deadline closing in. This order is even more important to us because Alice Cooper just got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it's gotta be perfect. What I'm doing is creating a dam. The primary purpose of putting a dam on is to separate the plaster into two pieces. It keeps the front half and the back half separate. You can divide the two halves, and you've got a good two-piece mold. I'm sure there's been better dams been made, but I don't know when and by who. When we finish the sculpture, we like to coat it with spray paint because the spray paint makes a barrier between the clay and the plaster, because the plaster actually can slightly absorb into the clay, and you lose a lot of detail that way. After completing the dam, Mondo and I are going to cover the sculpture with plaster. If we don't get this on there fast enough and it turns into a rock, this mold will be ruined and I will be drinking. We'll get a fairly thick layer on this plaster, and then we'll start putting the hemp on. It's a very strong weed, and we mix it in the plaster, and we put it on there, and it keeps the mold from cracking. When this stuff dries and it's no longer mobile, we usually let it go a half-hour minimum before we'll start pulling the clay out or separating the mold. Man, we're down to the wire on this Alice Cooper order. I thought it would take Mike about a day. He did too, to weld it all together and so forth. Then the next day we'd put the dials on, and oh no, it's been all week. The dials on the control box are by and large cosmetic, except for one on button.
Uh-oh. I've got a grounding issue. I put all the lights into the back of the control box and I go to test it, and nothing's working.
What about hot glue itself? Is that conductor?
It's one way to find out.
This is turning out to be extremely complex, and I'm not sure if we're going to be finished in time.
It's kind of been one little issue right after another. The hot glue doesn't like the aluminum. Nothing likes it, not even me.
Time to check on Mondo to see how the new foam is working.
The foam we normally use is pretty heavy, and it's strong and it's good, but we needed something light for this.
This makes me nervous because I never used this kind of foam before. And you see how fast it raises up. So I just have like a couple of seconds to put it in place and put the bag on top. Because I have to show it to it. Hey, Ed, can I show you this?
You like the
it's pretty good. Yeah.
All right,
looks like I'm in the clouds.
Gorgeous.
I just want to ask you if that's normal, because that's 1 ounce, and soon I put it on the cup, I just miss it for like a couple of seconds, and it raise up fast. That's normal?
It must be normal for this. Can you work with it that fast?
I can try.
Well, I've got this great lightweight foam, but it just sets like a rocket. I mean, you just barely start mixing and it just starts coming out. The foam holds the shape of the mask, and we use the light foam to keep it from being too heavy for the actor. Geez, that is fast. Oh, man. Man, that stuff's crazy. Hurry, Mondo. We'll pay you double time when you're working with that foam. But it seems to be working good, so it's light. It's the last day, and people are winding stuff up. Oh, hey, Mondo. Well, there he is.
Looks pretty good.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it is light, isn't it? Cool. Yeah, that's good news. That's perfect. Because, like, we're down to the last day, so. Now the pressure's on me to get all this stuff painted. I like working on new stuff that hasn't been done before, because it's kind of like you're bringing it to life and stuff, but the fun is gone after about 7 o'clock or so. Now it's just a grind. The paint's dry on FrankenAlice, and it's time to put the hair on, and I'm gonna have Marcia help me on that, because women are better at that sort of thing. You just keep handing me hunks and we'll stick them on. Now it's time to test the box.
I think we can fold the 2 boxes down into the 5 feet by 4 feet by 14 inches. Unless I made a mistake.
Oh, jeez, Mike!
It's a little heavier than it was.
That's scary. How are we going to keep people from getting killed?
Same way we just done it.
Well, we were lucky.
It actually should have the 3rd guy on it. It really should.
So you can kill 3 people.
If you had 3 guys on it, it'd be fine.
Oh, boy. Well, we spent the last week and a half in hell. Late hours, worked the weekend to get ready. We're finally done with this Alice Cooper build, and I'm excited to see what Alice and his manager, Shep, think of it. We're going to Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to show Alice the new props we made for his upcoming world tour.
Yeah. They've been explaining to me the design of it, and I've been kept saying, make it small, make it small. Because we're not playing arenas all the time, so we have to be conscious of, so we can be able to swing it out past the back line and stuff.
We did the show for Alice and the guys back with the Brutal Planet tour. And they really loved the stuff. It was a great show. But there were some problems with the size of the props and things. So we figured this was our chance. We're going to redeem ourselves, and oh, we'll show. They want small, we'll show them small. We'll show.
Right.
Oh, pretty compact.
Yeah.
And then when I saw it today, I went, holy.
We're never going to be able to move the 2 pieces out together.
Oh, no. I was thinking they'd hook this up like if you had the people that push it on the stage.
Got to be really fast.
Yeah.
Like what you're doing now, there'd never be time for.
I had hoped that it would be like, wow, this is the greatest thing we've ever seen.
It's pretty big, 10 feet high, of course. And just the way they designed the wheels, and it was kind of boxy and wide.
That probably goes bye-bye.
Oh, no. In a situation like this, you got to stay professional. And so even though inside it's like, the only rock band stuff has been for Alice. And so we're still learning, you know, how to make what they need. And I thought we'd made a pretty amazing thing to make this monster thing just and fold down. Wasn't amazing enough. The guys are concerned about the width of it, the weight of it, because of the tremendous cost to ship it by plane. So Alice walks in, and I'm a little concerned that they're not going to want to use any of it. There's not a chance in the world we could fix this today. It looks like this is scrapped.
Most of the time when you see things like that, you kind of think, you know, kind of overblown. Yeah, okay, can't really use that.
I was setting up the FrankenAlice, and Alice Cooper walks in, and I was a little bit nervous. Because it's been a long time since we've done stuff for Alice, and there was actually some problems with the first stuff because it was so big. And so we're kind of feeling the pressure to show them that we can do these props and make them in a way that are really usable and easy and so forth.
When I want a Frankenstein, if it comes in looking real hack, then I go, can't really use that.
They didn't like the box, and I was a little worried they wouldn't like the FrankenAlice either.
No, I like it.
A little wounded, but...
Yeah, I look real wounded.
I was really impressed when I saw it. I went, that's actually scary.
Kyler, Alice's personal assistant, is wearing the FrankenAlice on stage. He's great. He just seems to get the character. Yeah, now that's a good position. You should do that a lot. And then try leaning forward a little. That's good.
So when I'm actually out there, I'll go like this.
Yeah, he's right. That does help.
You are a natural.
Yeah, you are natural.
It's light. It's not awkward. You know, it's a little top heavy when you go to the left and to the right, but it's not bad. It's real natural to move this stuff. It's lightweight.
You know, regardless of the problems, when Alice saw the FrankenAlice, he really liked it. Shep liked it. They were laughing. Before we go to the Alice Cooper concert, to check out the first concert with Alice Cooper and the new props. We don't know if this is going to work, but whatever it takes, we're going to make it work. We are not going to let Alice Cooper down.
I think we're going to hit on all the punchlines tonight, but who knows what this audience is going to be tonight. Could be the buffet audience. You know, what the hell? That could very well be the audience tonight, which would be great.
Alice liked the FrankenAlice. I just hope he likes what we came up with to replace the box.
They hadn't pulled the stand out of the box when we got here, and so there was some concern about them using it, so I put it together real quick. This is for little Alice, and it holds the body.
Can we put the body on that thing once?
Okay.
Just being lightened up.
We hollowed out the body, so it was really just a hollow thing. It wouldn't weigh anything. And it doesn't have to show the whole leg.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It can be half of him.
I'll see what I can do. I'll get him as light as possible. We don't need the legs anymore. Little Alice needed to have an amputation of both legs. The benefit of that is now little Alice is really little.
The lighter it is, the easier it's going to be for him to fit it on there.
And the smaller it'll be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah?
look at that.
Nicer?
Yeah. That's Dad. This is so much better.
If they weren't here, I'd be down there right now going, okay, are we going to do this?
You have a little time, I think.
A little bit.
Now we can just say, just call up distortions. They'll know how to do it.
Nice.
You might kind of just get used to shaking it, make sure it's down there. They made the neck flop. It normally wanted to be up, but I made it flop so it looked realistic. We'll straighten his head out.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that. My frustrations on this project was time. We're always under the gun. We're always late. You're going to try to shove some foam in there and hopefully get the neck to stiffen up. Got to work, though. Clock's a ticking. Despite all the stress and all the work and stuff, I think this is going to be great. Oh, yeah. I am terrified that something may go wrong with one of the creatures. I'm like having panic attacks thinking about this.
We might get this tonight.
Lift up, and the stand's away, and the monster is alive.
All right, let's rock.
Let's rock.
Let's rock.
Let's rock. When FrankenAlice came out.
Yeah. Then the crowd went wild. That was quite a payoff.
That was awesome. Expecting the FrankenAlice. That was awesome. Never seen anything like that before. The FrankenAlice was awesome. Monster? Oh, he just melted my heart. Wonderful.
It's the best thing I think we've had so far.